And we took about nearly 3 weeks to get over there, zigzagging. Coming back, I came back on the hospital ship Queen Mary, 5 days to landed at Halifax, Nova Scotia. But going over, it took between 2 and 3 weeks. But it sure was a pretty sight to see the white cliffs of Dover down through there and land. And trains were a little different. You walk, you get into the side doors on the trains, and they moved us up to Pittle-Hinton. And that's where the 1st Division had stayed before they went. And we were there probably 3 weeks before we moved out. We went on a regular, full, pretty good sized ship, but before we got there, they transferred us. We had to climb down the rope and jump on the landing ship. And it pulled into Le Havre, it let down, and we walked. We waded a little bit of water, but yeah. When you talk about a town tore up, Le Havre was a jump. It was just nothing. They said, don't stray. Said, these Frenchmen will kill you. They left there. It's bad. And the first night we pulled out of town and spent on the side of the road in green grass and cow manure. And then the next day we moved up the road. You might have heard me say this. We still thought we were going to be in armed occupation. The road to Paris went this way, the road to Liège went this way, and we turned this way. I said, uh-oh. We ended up on the side of the hill right across from where that Henri Chapelle Cemetery is now. It was called Jayhawk Cemetery then, and they were bringing dead bodies in at that time. But before we left there, now that was right at the 1st of November, just a day or two before or after, I can't remember. That rain started turning to snow. And by the time we got up to higher elevation, it was snowing like hell when we landed. We stopped at Crinkell. And we marched in from there over to the International Highway and relieved a company of 28th Division, I believe, and man for man across the line. And they said, be quiet, don't bother them, they won't bother you. And that suited me fine. But one day, we decided that my friend was a rifle. We had one scope and one sharpshooter. We decided if we could pick off one of those Germans on the pillbox up there, and we shot it. We cut close enough where he ran, and in about 5 minutes, mortars would drop in on the top of us. We never did fire at them again. But then, when we were there, it was pretty quiet. Snow and wet and melting and so forth. We stayed on line probably 2 weeks there, and then we pulled back just to near Crinkell and pulled guard duty for 2 or 3 days, and then we went on attack sometimes a little longer than I'm telling you in time. We moved over on the International Highway on the other end, near where the road, International Highway turns and bends, where the K Company got wiped out the opening morning. We were there. They pulled us out of there, and then we stacked our duffel bags right against the fence line over there, and we went on. We were on the way with the 2nd Division back to the Moncha forest. We never got through the Dragon's Teeth. The first day we pulled up there and stopped, and there was a little firing going on. Because we didn't know it, they had more soldiers there than we thought they had. They were getting ready for the bulge anyhow. But it was such a rough country, they didn't have any Dragon's Teeth back there on the line. They couldn't, no motor vehicle could get through. But on the German side, there was some open country. But the pillbox we were nearest, we tried the first day to blow it with a Bijtelaar torpedo pulled in pipe, never fired. Next day, brought up a flamethrower. Got it ready to go, never fired. So on the 16th, we were still there in front of that pillbox. Anyhow, we didn't get hit on the 16th. When we were bunched together, luckily too, on attack. Might say, it's like, if it'd been where K was, we'd got wiped out. But they told us, hold up, having a little problem. And on the morning of the 17th, they said, leave everything you can't carry out, get down this road fast. We got to hold the road open, or the 2nd Division is going to be trapped. Well, being an Aggie and a Texan, I got all the good jobs. We got back down the road and said, lead us in till you meet the Germans. So I go over a hill. Nobody shot me, so I went over the next hill. The bullets flying everywhere. Germans were looking at me when I looked up. And they hit my rifle right in the middle of it. And I flopped on the ground, and much as that little thing there protection, laid flat like that. The guy with me flopped down on top of me, and he got a round or two off. And they shot him right between the eyes. That was the first death I was close to, yeah. We'd had one or two get killed by mortar fire or something before then, but that was, anyhow. And I decided they were shooting tracers. I could smell it. I decided I'd better get out of there. They weren't going to kill me. They weren't going to capture me. And so my guys up on the hill had started shooting back a little bit. So I zigzagged up that hill. I shed that pack and run up that hill, zigzagging. And I'd have been in the Atlantic Ocean another hour if they hadn't stopped me, I think. But anyhow, we dug in, and from then on, we were in constant combat. We were just holding, but we could kind of see lights in the background, and we could hear all kind of mortar fire and artillery fire. It was noisy, but not where we were. We held 3 days down there, and they were close-up attacks, and until the second pulled out. Then on the third night, they said to go back. We could pull back 2 or 3 miles to Elsenborn Ridge. And we pulled back and got about halfway back. They told us to turn around and go back. That we need to hold one more day. Now one colonel wouldn't take his battalion back, and he got busted. We got back, Germans in our foxhole. And by then I had picked up an M1, and we had 6 bayonet, and we went after them. We hadn't anything to eat. We were tired. We were scared. We killed them and threw them out of the foxhole. It wasn't bad shooting at somebody at a distance. That didn't affect you. Yes, it affects me. It affects me today. Then we pulled back that night. We were surrounded by then, but it was dark at night. They couldn't tell we were German American. And we pulled back to Elsenborn and laid down and went to sleep. I thought, boy, we shot up and we're beat up and we're tired. They're going to send us to rest camp. They said, go down the hill and relieve I Company down there who's on the road. And so we moved back down there and crawled in a foxhole back where you come out of Birchville. Yeah. It's right around the Ditchford, yeah, right around the bend from where we were. We were dug in on the road. 2nd Division was on the other side. And we could talk to each other across it. We had a tanker sergeant sitting in the middle of the road. And the tanks come around, but they'd go down to a draw and didn't try to come up the road. You could hear them and see them, but at that time, and shelling across there, it was terrible. But our artillery probably saved us more than us. They had had time to set up back toward Elsenborn, back through there, and they were, if the Germans were getting shelled like we were getting shelled, they were getting shelled. One morning, it seemed like I'd got all these jobs. I was in the outpost down there, just near it to be. Right, got the outpost is what you're supposed to get killed, so the rest of them know they're coming. Anyhow, 2 guys come around the bend with their hands up, so I called them over and I took them back up the road and turned them over to 2nd Division. Had a holding quarters back there, and I'm not sure the 2nd Division didn't kill them, because I heard some firing after I left. But then I walked back, crawled back down that hole. Then we went on patrols out of there pretty often, and they told us to bring back a prisoner. And one night, during that early period, we had a pretty good sized patrol. We must have had 10 to 15 of us that night. Went out crunching in the snow and everything else. And we fell in a hole where the German outpost was in. He was going to let us go. He wasn't trying any longer. We reached out and grabbed him, took a bayonet up his rear and made him carry that. I was carrying we had a stretcher, made him carry that. We had a cistern for a company CP. And this cistern is still there. It's not the same cistern, but it's still there on the road from Firstville to Elsenborn. Right up the bend there was our company headquarters. And I couldn't speak German, but I know one thing, they brought an interpreter in. He didn't stop when he got through his name, rank, and serial number. He's telling his mom and daddy and his officers and everything he knew.